What's up, guys? Great Knicks win. First question. I'll start with Titi. Who won this game for the Knicks? You had to pick one. Who won this game?
It had to be one person.
Had to be one person who won this game.
I think I gotta say RJ Barrett.
You're gonna give it Barrett? All right, tell me why.
RJ. Well, when you first asked me the question, I thought this was just a collective team effort, and the Knicks are just
Which it
a better
was.
team. Yeah, and the Knicks are just a better team. But I think what makes the Knicks better is that we don't need that much out of everyone. We just need a little out of someone. And when we won game one, we got nothing out of quickly. We still won. Now all of a sudden it's the first quarter. RJ's hitting 2 threes. He's getting to the hole. He's got 10 points, 5 rebounds, a few dimes. I'm like, this game's over. If we're getting this out of RJ. So I mean, that's the thing. We saw
All right.
Yeah. So
Niles, you agree with him?
Yeah, I think it kind of like if I were to separate them, I would say mainly it mentally went to RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson contributed in the first half. I think the good start for them really got them rolling. And then in the second half, I think Jalen Brunson just took over. But Obi Toppin put in some really good minutes, I think, in the fourth quarter and getting the 4 steals and the block.
But if you had to pick one, Niles, who are you going with?
Yeah, I was going to conclude by saying I think the guy who really just took it over was Jalen Brunson. I think start to finish, he's played just a really strong game. He's finished around the rim well. He was getting to spots. He had some really nice footwork plays, getting around defenders, up and unders. Floating, yeah. The floater was just unstoppable today.
That's the thing with the Knicks. Like Brunson got shut down in game 2, and he had a rough first quarter. But he found a way, and then he took over in the second. We're arguably better with our second unit. When the second unit came in, he took off in the second quarter. And that to me is just the difference between these two teams. Like you look at Garland, he just did nothing today.
Well,
Garland just didn't have it.
That's why I'm going with Niles. I think Brunson was clearly the star because in game 2, Garland was unstoppable and he pushed the pace and they were just the aggressive team and the Knicks couldn't stop him. Today, first quarter, both teams were struggling to shoot the ball. Barrett kept him in there, but then Brunson took over. That second quarter, he controlled the pace. He broke down the defense. He got into the paint, and that's when the Knicks started to build that lead. So that's why I agree with Niles. I think Brunson controlled the game compared to like he did in game 1. And Garland was nowhere to be found tonight. So that point guard matchup, what's up?
Yeah, this series to me, that perfect example is why it's men against boys. Like you got someone like Brunson who can get shut down, and Niles. He started out, he had a terrible first quarter.
Yep.
But he didn't disappear. He came back and he turned it around. It's a pipe dream for Garland today. You knew Garland had nothing today. Last time I checked, he had 2. I checked.
He had a terrible game.
He had 4-21 from the field, 10 points, 3 assists, -21 plus minus. He just didn't have it tonight.
4-21 from the field. Wow.
Hey, what is he? Zach LaVine out there after a big game, or what is this?
Did you guys see the Jalen Brunson post game interview?
No,
on the Zoom. I was watching on MSG, and MSG got RJ.
Just gave me goosebumps.
What did he say?
It was just like it's just playing in the Garden is just unreal. He remembers the games going as a child, like being obviously Rick Brunson being his dad, going to Knicks games as a kid, being from Jersey. Brunson was just like, I would love to play here, like growing up, and now that I'm here, this energy is just surreal here. The fans are crazy, like it's a crazy environment to play in. It was just a bone-chilling interview because like you see his dad in the crowd or in the stand, but like in the second row behind the bench, just shaking his head, just like seeing him just like light it up on the Knicks stage. It's just like that's just like something you want to like you root for as an NBA fan.
And that leads my second point today. I was going to say, what role did the crowd and the atmosphere have in this blowout Knicks win? Titi, what do you think?
Oh, everything. And it's actually been a huge theme this postseason too. It's been a massive theme. I knew that, frankly, this series was over in my head in game one. Like game two didn't even worry me. I saw everything I needed to see in game one. And I knew with the fans, you see all the 90s legends were there, all sitting in the front row. You saw when Brunson gave high five to John Starks.
Yeah, I
after he
saw
hit
that. That was great.
You know, that nice Duncan, shut up. When he made that little footwork play, you can't lose in front of these people. You know,
So
and
you thought it was a huge factor, TD, huh?
oh, it's the massive factors up, just like the Sacramento. They won those 2 games. That, by the way, the Knicks crowd was good, but that Sac crowd is just on another level. That's just
Man,
another
I
level.
wish. Yeah.
And you saw my Hawks today. You saw my Hawks with some home cooking.
You're a Hawks. Oh my God.
You saw my Hawks
TD,
today.
that's one of the worst. You look like a fool. You look like a fool with that take, just to let you know.
What are you talking about?
We'll do that. They're not
You
this
just said
is
you're
not
a
a
Hawks
competitive
as
series.
a Knicks fan. As
What
a
do
Knicks
you-
fan, you just said you're Hawks.
Hey, what do you guys should have seen the game.
I saw
You guys should have seen it. You know what it looked like?
TD.
Those Celtics looked like they did in the finals last year.
TD. Let's say, all right. Niles, you agree the crowd was everything?
Yeah, the crowd was just incredible tonight. My younger brother Kendall was actually at the game. A shout out to him.
Man.
And
Good
yeah,
for
we're
him.
gonna be at Sunday's game for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna be at Sunday's game. I don't know how he got that put together. Shouts out to my little brother though. But
good for
yeah,
you.
he was just recording little bits during the game, and you could just hear the energy in that arena. That MSG come playoff time is just sick.
It was.
The stars were out, like Fat Joe in the crowd. Spike Lee is going crazy on the
Little
sidelines.
Johnny Mac. Don't forget
That
Johnny
was
Mac.
prime. Tonight was prime MSG playoff atmosphere. Like it doesn't get much better than that with all that.
I agree with you guys. The way the Knicks blew them out, the atmosphere definitely played a role. And last point,
everything.
yeah,
It's everything.
I agree. Last point before we go, what are you worried about heading into game 4, if anything, from a Knicks perspective? Niles, why don't you go first?
Yeah, Knicks perspective, I feel good about just about everything except the fact about the injuries on the roster, and I'd say that's particularly Julius Randle with the ankle. He didn't look sharp at all tonight. And then just waiting to see what happens with Quentin Grimes, because that changes up things a little bit. You may see Deuce McBride hop into the rotation if you miss out on Quentin Grimes in game 4. That's pretty much it on the Knicks end. I think everything they just played very solid. And I've always said, as long as Mitchell Robinson's out of foul trouble and out on the floor, I think he has a big impact in this series. I mean, he only had 7 rebounds, but those 5 offensive rebounds are so big for them.
Huge.
The 2 steals and the blocks. He was excellent on defense. Absolutely took Jared Allen off the floor. He was great in his minutes, and he made it to 30 minutes. You don't ever really see Mitchell Robinson play that many minutes in a game. So I feel like him being on the floor was very important.
Yep, his first quarter was huge because everyone was struggling to get buckets, and he kept the score tied with those blocks and rebounds. That was huge, a huge first quarter. By the way,
that's the key with him. That's the key. Yeah, that's the key with him. As long as he's out there, I mean, he's gonna miss free throws and he'll be a little bit of a target in pick and roll. But like, as long as you can get great minutes out there where that's not becoming an issue that costs you games, Mitchell Robinson can play 30 minutes a game when he's.
He usually closes with Hartenstein.
Right. Exactly.
Dude, Hartenstein's great as well, though, for a backup center. Very solid.
Man, if Mitchell Robinson could just do like,
if he had better hands around the basket,
if he could just work on like, a layup, he could be an absolute. But he already is a force. But he has no offensive game.
Titi, what's your biggest worry for game 4?
Nothing. This it's over. I'm already thinking next playoff round. I mean,
hope everybody stays healthy.
Yeah, but the depth just overwhelms the Cavs. It just overwhelms
their
them.
bench is bad. Their bench is horrible.
Dude, I've never seen a team. It's almost like the bench unit comes in and it's almost like we elevated a level or like added another arm to our team. I've never seen a team.
Well,
do
we
that.
haven't mentioned Hart was great tonight as well. Josh Hart was fantastic,
But it's
offense
the
and
whole
defense.
bench.
I
No,
agree.
it's the whole bench. Even like quickly came in, his floater started hitting today. He
Yeah.
started hitting those threes in the third quarter. It's just we have so many options. Like everyone on the bench is going to get their 6 or 8 points. Toppin is going to get a few like open lane runners. Going
He
to
was
hit a
good tonight as well.
Yep, but we don't need that much for them. It reminds me of the old Warriors teams. We'd always say they're like 12-legged octopuses. They just got so many weapons. You got Sean Livingston coming in off the bench. This Knicks team reminds me of that. There's just it overwhelms the Cavs. The poor Cavs. You could tell
Titi,
today.
there's one thing I think you neither of you guys mentioned what I'm a little bit worried about. Knicks shooting they're still not shooting well, especially from the three. At the end with the momentum they got it going. No
one hits threes.
Yeah, my point is
they didn't hit a three either today.
Titi, the point is, and Mark Jackson brought up this point. The biggest difference is the pace of the game. That's why I keep going back to Brunson Garland. When the Knicks miss threes, it gives the Cavs a chance to get out and run. That could get the Cavs going like it did in game 2. You miss some threes. You give the ball to Mitchell and Garland. They're both great in the fast break. And that could get the Cavs into the game and play their style of game. They are young and fast. Well, I'm saying that's
when they're missing
what happened in game 2. What's that, Niles?
Especially when they're missing a lot of long 3-point shots. It's just feeding into Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, fast breaks, and Mobley runs the floor so well for a big.
Big men are young. They really run fast.
Their bigs run the floor. They get back in transition better than any. There's a reason they're the number 1 defense in the league. Their bigs get back in transition better than any bigs I've ever seen. But yeah, it's a big factor, and you don't want that shooting to lag back into Cleveland again for Game 5. So yeah, that's a big key for Game 4.
Yeah. I mean, just give it to Brunson and let him attack the paint.
The thing is, you look at the Cavs game 1. They needed, even though they lost, they got what'd they get? 38 out of Mitchell. They kind of needed hero ball out of him. Game 2, they needed Garland to have the game of his career, which he
blew
did.
the Nets
And
Knicks out there.
but then today, when the Cavs were down, at least Clyde was saying on the broadcast, they're like, man, they need Mitchell to get going now. For the Cavs to get 3 more games out of this, all they really have to rely on is hero ball from Mitchell and Garland. No one else really scares you.
But my point is, missing shots gets those two going. Missing threes, and the Knicks are not. They're going to miss some. You're right, Titi. Neither team's, but they really take advantage of those long rebounds, like Niles said. All right, Niles, last point. Anything else to add about this game that we missed?
A big shout out to Derrick Rose in my stat of the night. It was great to see him back on the floor without his knee pads and everything. He looked like he was not prepared to play at all, which is kind of funny for me to see personally because I've followed Derrick Rose for a long time. And there's not been one game I've not seen him wear knee pads. So that was just a good sight to see. But it's for his second game since January. So whenever he does play, I'm going to make sure I show some love to Derrick Rose. So shout out to Derrick Rose in this game for just getting some garbage time, but just get on the floor.
And I like the way the crowd was really behind him.
Man, they were loud for him. I mean, for sure.
All right, Titi, any last points?
No last points. Just few general NBA,
We'll do that next time. Yeah, another time, TD.
All right, cool.
All right, yeah, because tomorrow, man, huge NBA schedule, and we'll be back. All right, Niles, good night. TD, good night. See you guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.
That's good. Leave